It's this behemoth of a lens worth $3,000. We got some stuff to talk about. Yo, what's going on, guys, man, and welcome back to yet another video on this channel. Now today, you guys can see by the title, we are going to be talking about this massive lens. This is the Canon RF 2870 f2. This lens is freaking huge, but it's really good. Before I get into this video, I want to say that this lens was rented from Lens Rentals. If you guys want to rent out some gear, you can go get that. I think a lot of other people that I watch rented gear from them, so I will with them as well. And also, if you guys don't want to watch this entire video, just go to the little tabs and within like the bottom of the screen or whatever on your phone or laptop, computer, and you can go to the different sections that I want to be talking about within this video. You don't have to watch the whole thing. I won't be offended, but if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well. But yeah, let's get right into this somewhat of a lens review. I don't know what to call this, but this is just my personal take on this lens. First time using this lens, so I just thought it would be good to give you guys some feedback if you're interested in purchasing or even renting out this lens. So let's get right into it. All right, guys, so the first thing we're going to be talking about is the price of this lens, the Canon RF 2870 f2.0 or f2, what do you want to say? But this lens costs $3,000, man. That is a lot of money. I don't know, like, if y'all have that kind of money to spend on a lens. I don't have that kind of money to spend on a lens. I have other things that I can purchase or even just save that money for a later bigger purchase. So yeah, that's why I rented this lens. So this lens costs a lot of money and it's freaking huge. It's like a 3-pound lens. It's huge. I didn't even like attempt to vlog on this because it's just too big, man. I would not have a good time trying to vlog on this. I honestly don't even like vlogging on my setup now. I have the EOS R with the 16-35. That sometimes gets heavy over a long period of time. I can't even imagine how this would feel. So yeah, I mean, if you want to get like Quagmire strong in your right arm or left arm, so be it. But for me, I think I'm good. I'm beyond good on trying to vlog on this. All right, guys, so for video, I wanted to see how this would operate on my gimbals. I have the Ronin S and the Ronin M. Now, our first day trying to balance these two gimbals, or just my camera and the lens on my gimbals, I was able to balance it on my S, but my M was not so good. I think because I was kind of rushing at the time, but I ended up doing it later on, so I'll show you guys those clips as well. Balancing this lens and my camera on my gimbals honestly was a pain because this lens is it's so front heavy. It's a 3-pound lens, and I think my camera body is maybe 1.5 pounds, maybe a pound of the Canon EOS R. It's a mirrorless camera, so it's not as big as this lens. So I think moving forward, or if you do purchase this lens and you want to fly it on the gimbal, you can balance it. I did balance it, but I think that it wasn't properly balanced to the way it should have been. So really, if you do have this lens or any bigger lens, you need to get some type of a counterweight or a counterweights to evenly balance the front end of your setup to the back end. I'm pretty sure it would have looked a lot better because I saw a lot of micro jitters in the footage. So I think that's because the motors were just working way too hard. I mean, I got it balanced without even having it turned on, but I do feel like it was way too front heavy, or maybe I just suck, I don't know. But I think if I would have had some counterweights, it definitely would have helped out. And also, when it comes to balancing this on a gimbal or even putting it on a tripod, you will need some type of a cage, mainly because the lens itself is too thick. It's very girthy, pause. It's a very thick lens. So when you have this, at least for my camera, the bottom of the camera was higher than the lens. So the lens is lower than the camera. So if I try to put a base plate for my gimbals or my tripod, it would be at an angle and it wouldn't screw in all the way. So you have to get some type of separation from the camera base and the bottom of the lens so you can put it onto your gimbal or your tripod. Since this lens does go all the way down to an f2, this is gonna be great for low light scenarios, but also keep in mind, if you're moving around on a gimbal like I was, it's gonna be really hard to maintain that focus distance if you're moving around really fast on a gimbal like I was. So just keep that in mind because you got these lower apertures, which means you have a shallower depth of field. So that focal range is gonna be a lot slimmer than you shooting at like an f4, which I typically do for my music videos. It's easier for me to keep my subject in focus. And I got some manual shots, but it was just hard to keep my subject in focus with me flying it on the gimbal. If I'm on the tripod and it's a static shot with me not moving or anybody moving like that, I could probably rack focus with just the lens itself. Or if you have like a, what's it called? Tilted nucleus thing. If you had that, probably be a lot easier if you had it on a tripod or doing some handheld shots. It would be good for that, but this is a great option for some low light scenarios. Even my lens now is an f2.8, but like going from a 2.8 to a 2.0 is a big difference. It's a really big difference. A lot of light is coming into that sensor, and it's going to make that depth of field really shallow. So keep that in mind. This is great for low light, but if you're moving it around on the gimbal, it's going to be kind of hard to keep your subject in focus. Maybe it's just me. I could just suck because I haven't shot a music video in like over a year. So maybe it's just me not getting that repetition and doing those things over and over again. So maybe I could just suck. Who knows? Maybe you guys can do a lot better than I can. Who knows? Maybe I just need more practice. And one last thing for the video side of things, and even for photo as well, this lens has various focal lengths. So it goes from 28 all the way to 70. So with that comes in lens compression, and I love the look of lens compression, especially like at 50 millimeters, 70 and higher. The lens compression gives off a cinematic feel, in my opinion. That doesn't mean shooting at 35 or like a 24 millimeters doesn't mean that's not cinematic. It's just, for me, I think having that lens compression makes your image look more cinematic, and that's just my opinion. So yeah, I got a few tripod shots testing out the different focal lengths, and if you guys want me to do some sort of like tutorial when it comes to like lens focal lengths and the compression and how that affects your image, I will be sure to do that. Just head down to the comments and let me know if that's something that you guys would like to see. I don't identify as a photographer. I don't like the term photographer, well, for me, because I don't buy gear just for like mainly photography. Like I do have photography gear because I did that at a time back in Germany when I was overseas. I did a lot of studio work, but I gradually transitioned over to the video side of things, and I haven't really done photo shoots like that. So I don't identify as a photographer, but for my photographers out there, this lens, I'm not gonna lie, this lens is a really, really good photography lens. It's very sharp, it's great in low light. It's honestly probably the best lens that I've used for photography ever. Now I say I don't identify as a photographer, but I did recently do a milk baths photo shoot, and when I say those photos came out really, really good because of this lens. This lens is really good for photography, man. So if you guys are interested in picking up this lens for photography, I highly recommend it. It's very expensive, but maybe you can just rent it out like I did. So you have the option to rent. You can buy it used, you can buy it brand new. A lot of options when it comes to getting this lens in your hand. For my milk bath photo shoot, it felt like I was shooting on prime lenses, and it gave me that portrait type look that I was going for. But yeah, my first love was photography, but I don't identify as a photographer. A lot of people call me a photographer. It's kind of deceiving because I do photo shoots, or I've done recent photo shoots, and people see that I don't identify as one. But when I do photo shoots, they are really good. So I see where people come from when they try to call me a photographer. I don't really get mad anymore like I used to, but I don't like it. So yeah, if you see me walking around, don't be like, hey, photographer dude. No, I don't like that. But anyways, the milk bath photo shoot came out great. Felt like I was shooting on prime lenses with the f2. It was just really good, man. I really can't say any bad things about this lens other than it's just freaking heavy, yo. The final verdict, is this lens worth the money? Yes, I think it's worth it. But would I buy it? Absolutely not. I don't need it. It doesn't fit in what I do. And it's not a smart investment for me. I could put that money into something else, save it. I could buy something, whatever other gear that can add up to that costly lens. I would rent it out again, but buying it, no. One, it costs too much. Two, it's too heavy for my gimbals for the time being until I get some counterweights. But it's just more steps, man, you know? So, and I do more video stuff. I direct, shoot, and edit music videos. So yeah, it's too much for me. I don't want to say this is a bad lens. That's not what I'm saying, but just for me and what I do, this just would not be a smart investment. It costs so much money, man. I can buy, who knows, a lot of other things besides this lens. It just costs too much for me, and what I do, it just would not fit with what I do. It's just not a smart investment. Buy the gear that is going to be a better investment for you, not because somebody else has it. That's why I rented it out, because I wanted to test it out and then give you guys some feedback about the lens for video, photography, how much it costs, real world experiences with this lens. So, but that's pretty much gonna wrap up today's video. Like I said, this was rented from Lens Rentals. So if you guys want to rent out some gear, like lenses, camera bodies, they got lights, memory cards, all kinds of stuff. If you guys want to rent out some gear, I highly recommend it, because you want to save so much money and you can get the experience using the gear that you want to have for whatever time period that you want to use it for. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. Hope it was very, very informational for you. You learned a lot of cool things about this particular lens, and even trying to go over to Lens Rentals and pick up some gear to rent out for yourself. It's worth the money for sure, but I just don't need it. But look, man, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you're new here, consider subscribing. We are about to hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Let it sink in. Pause for a second. Think about it. We started last year with 100 subscribers, and now it is still January of me shooting this video. I am at like 925 and 924. It's really crazy to think that we're about to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. I appreciate the love and support from you guys. Yeah, man, I just really appreciate everything you guys do for me and this channel, and I just want to give back to you with the good content. So it's a win-win for everybody. Like I said, if you're new here, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.